Another week, another episode of TV is all we've got. It's a father-daughter podcast, something that my daughter actually engineered and came up with and has been instrumental in making happen. Lauren, hello, darling.
Hi, Dad. How you going?
You're in New South Wales. I'm in Victoria. It's the ultimate lockdown show, is it not?
Yeah, it is starting to feel like it is the battle of the lockdowns.
But
But
TV, well, at least we've got TV.
yeah, I mean, we've got to be pretty grateful for that. A lot of places around the world that don't have TV or the streaming services and access to, some
You
amazing
mean like
shows that we
places
have.
like China?
Yes, yes,
They've got
definitely.
so much, but they've got a lot of
They've also got very
control.
little.
Yeah.
They also don't have a lot of the social media apps that we do, which is,
Quite
probably
possibly
smart.
the best thing that could happen to them.
They were onto something at that
Oh,
point,
what
but
sort of week have you had?
it's been an interesting week. Work's been really busy. We've got a lot going on. So yeah, I feel like I have been in my apartment very much all week and not really made much of an effort to get out. So hopefully this weekend, if the weather is good, I will venture out and yeah, I'm double vaxxed now. So very excited.
Well, many congratulations.
Thank you.
We're nearly there, and that's encouraging. The other thing I was going to say to you is it's always very good to hear that there are people who are working despite all the disruption, and that's so
Yeah.
important. We need the city, we need the state, we need the country to be working and helping the economy. The last possible thing Australia needed, in fact, the last thing the world needed was a slowdown like this. Although some of us early on thought that this lockdown, this COVID pandemic would cause an awful lot of readjustment and thinking and reflection, I'm wondering, I think the minute the place opens up again, people will go back to their, automatic selves and be just as they were before. Do you think I'm right, or am I way off the
Yeah,
mark?
I do think you're right. I mean, I feel like we definitely got way too complacent after coming out of the first lot of lockdown, especially in Sydney. Because I remember when I came to see you in Melbourne, Di made a comment that people were still crossing the road trying to keep their distance. And I said, no, I'm not in Sydney. That's definitely not the case. So, I mean, I'd love to think that people will still kind of remember the times that we've had and focus on things that they were focusing on right now. But I don't think that's possible. I
I get a
think that
sense.
people have been holed up for too long and just want an opportunity to get out and do something.
I get a sense there are a lot of angry people, a lot of frustrated people. Di,
Yeah.
you were talking about Di a moment ago. She went to get her first shot, and someone remarked, with the minute she was called, the woman immediately behind her said, "On you go, quickly."
Oh,
And Di thought, "Hey, lady, I'm moving as fast as I possibly can."
exactly. She's just on her back.
Correct.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
you know, it's extraordinary. We live in a
Yeah.
society that asks only one thing of us, that
Mm.
we compromise where we can or
Mm.
where we need to and be
Yeah.
as patient as possible. And an awful lot of people just don't do one or the other. It's pretty
Yeah.
alarming, actually. But there you go. Speaking of
It is.
alarming,
Mm.
that was the first thing that I felt watching the show that you asked me to watch, which is
The
The
White
White
Lotus.
Lotus.
Yeah. Why was it alarming?
There wasn't one character in the whole show that I warmed up to. Normally,
No.
there's someone you find attractive, there's someone you think is interesting,
Mm.
or you think has got something about them, or there's a great story.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was a bit like the world we're living in. These people, seriously, um,
All out for
talk about,
themselves.
huh?
All out for themselves. Every single one of
Oh,
them.
every single one. It
Yeah.
and that and we're talking about White Lotus, which features on, I think it's Binge, and also you can see it on Fox Go.
Foxtel.
Yeah, which is how
Yeah.
I was watching it. and it's basically a story. It covers about a week in the lives of a bunch of people who've decided to go to this resort, in this tropical resort in Hawaii, and you have the beautiful music, you have the great pictures and the great scenery. And
yep.
I kept thinking to myself, and I said to Di, I think after about episode 3, why does Lauren ask me to do this? It wasn't one person I was interested in. And
I know. But that's why it's so fascinating to me.
Okay, explain, because I'm lost. It's not a show that I would warm to. I stuck it out because I know that my daughter wants commitment from us with this podcast. Oh my God, it tested me.
It does. And I think that's the beauty of it, is that's the truth about being human. Do you know what I mean? Everyone has their flaws. And
yes.
But not everyone shows it like
redeeming
these people
feature.
did. Yes, but I know, but we're very good at masking and hiding our flaws. This show did not allow anyone to get away with anything. And so I think that is the true meaning of what it is to be human. And to see these people face to face with them and just think, I never would, like in my life, would I want to spend a holiday with these people or share a boat with these people. But in reality, we do. We just don't know about it.
Back in 2004, you, me, and your cousin,
the Vomitron,
spent a month away in Europe. We were there for the Olympic Games in Athens, and we went and we did a tour of the Greek islands and parts of Turkey. And on that cruise ship, we got a sense of some of these characters, and we went to some of the resorts. But we never really ran into anyone like that, did we?
No.
Oh, no. And could you imagine if you, Andrew, and I had been stuck on a boat with a woman who was wanting to throw her mother's actors? It was,
hey, truly, if it was Jennifer Coolidge, I would sit there and listen to her all day. I think she saved that show, really.
Well, quite possibly.
Her and Connie Britton.
Yeah. Look, Alexandra Daddario is an attractive girl and all that, but the character, I kept sitting there thinking to myself, I don't want to know.
You're a smart girl.
And the husband, I don't want to know the husband.
I know.
The father, I mean, who finds out, we're not going to say what he finds out about his father. What a journey, what a trip. And can I ask you a question? Did you
of course,
the one lone Australian accent a bit grating?
I mean, it couldn't be a nice Australian sounding accent, could it? In Hawaii. I mean, it doesn't make sense, really.
Look, in truth, it does make sense, because there are an awful lot of smart Australian men and women who, have worked in hospitality around the world in some of the greatest resorts and some of the great hotels. And that's the thing that's quite possible. In Hawaii, there'd be Australians there. In all the snowfields, there'd be Australians there. So that wasn't harsh. But what was really harsh was listening to the accent butted up against the American ones. I kept thinking, what's my daughter doing to me? It's like flagellation. It was like, my daughter was whipping me. You know what? My Christmas present's got to be a really big, beautiful.
Well, your birthday comes before Christmas, and it's a big birthday apparently this year. So
no, it's not, because the last 2 years don't count, right? So it's no longer. It's like your cousin Andrew, who thinks he's 40. He isn't.
Yeah. No.
He's 38.
Yeah.
And if he thinks otherwise, he's joking. He's delusional. I'll tell his wife that too. The kids will love it. Oh, Dad, you're not.
If that means they get another cake, they'll make him very happy.
Correct.
Let me tell you.
So what did you make of your show?
So this week you made me watch The Sinner, which is on Netflix. And I I'm hooked. I've already watched season 1 and I'm pretty much halfway through, or maybe a little bit more than halfway through season 2. Very, very fascinating. For people that don't know, the Sinner first season features Jessica Biel as a mother who has a breakdown on a beach and kills a man. And
Don't say anymore.
I will not. What I will say though is that Bill Pullman is the detective in the case, and I could watch Bill Pullman all day.
Yep.
And very, very grateful that I get to in this show.
Well, I'm very, very happy that you've tuned in and actually grasped the quality of the work. He's really managed to bring that character to life, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really, what really fascinated me is that he doesn't give a lot of himself in terms of who he is as a person, but he gives his whole self to the job. And it I guess it speaks volumes to someone that really does love what they're doing. And
who immerses themselves. Who immerses themselves. He'll miss a meal. The time will fly.
I don't think he's slept for days.
Actually thinking about the job 24/7, which is amazing. It can be taxing, but as you said, if you're passionate, it doesn't matter. It's about the job, isn't it? The quality of the work.
Yeah. So I remember when The Sinner first came out and everyone was saying, oh, you've got to watch The Sinner. You've got to watch The Sinner. It actually might have been last lockdown.
Yeah.
If I'm being completely honest. And because I was working, I didn't get to see it. And so when I started watching this first season, I'm like, okay, Jessica Biel, yep, get it. And then I noticed that she's not in the second season. And we actually follow Detective Ambrose, who is Bill Pullman.
She's an executive producer for the whole series. She's done a great job.
That side of it got me really excited that they can just continue doing it like season after season with just different characters and different storylines. So I like shows that I can see longevity with.
Yeah,
because
well, I've got one
like
for you.
People.
I've got one for you next week. If you love what you saw in The Sinner, you're going to love Billy Bob Thornton in Goliath.
God, Billy Bob's a weird cat, isn't he?
Absolutely weird cat. You think about this. Angelina Jolie loved him enough to marry him.
I know.
Think about that.
I know. That must mean that him and Brad Pitt have got more in common than we think.
Well, you've got to see Goliath next week, and you'll be immersed. You'll love it because one, it's brilliantly written, and a great ensemble cast, and great character development, the sort of stuff that you like and you get your teeth into.
Yeah.
I must say, I sat there and I kept looking for redemption. I kept looking for reasons to keep watching The White Lotus. And you are right. You are right. It's about this world of ours and this modern society of ours and how complex, how many layers it's got, how much duplicity, how much fakery, how much facade is put up, how many faces we wear, how many masks we wear, what we want people to see, what we don't want people to see. And there's a gorgeous exchange between Alexandra Daddario and Connie Britton, which is quite revealing.
It is.
And again, worth the watch. But for me, it's one of the few shows I've ever had to take in. And I can say to you, there wasn't one character I fell in love with. Normally, there's someone you love, the detective, or you love Billy Bob Thornton for the quality of the work. But oh man, maybe it is, as you say, it's this raw look at life and how people, white affluent Americans, tend to treat resorts as their playground to indulge and do anything. I thought that the youngster who has no idea what he's doing, he goes and sleeps on the beach, only to realise he's lost his phone, he's lost his iPad, and of course his whole world's lost.
Which it's his livelihood.
Most of the time looking at the screen.
Yeah.
And that's so today, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
But
look at you.
do you know
You're
what I
just looking
also
at your
was?
screen now.
Well, I'm looking at you.
I'm sorry, I had to throw that in.
But one thing that was like going through my head as you were saying all of that was this is people on holiday. This is when people are meant to be at their best, when they're relaxed. And this is what happened to these people. So could you imagine what they're like in real life? Like, if you did have to deal with them day to day, it'd be exhausting. You would just never
from the moment
feel safe.
that the sequence opens the show, and you're at the airport, and this couple asks this guy that we don't know who it is, about what's going on, how is he, how's he feeling, and of course the guy just drops this perfect "thank you very much, but don't fuck with me," pardon the expression. I'm thinking, oh yeah, okay, here we go. One exotic adventure my daughter has found for me. You.
Well, there was a lot of twists and turns in there, let me tell you. They did not make it easy for you to guess what was going on.
Look, White Lotus has it all. And it happens, as I said, all in a week. And it's the story of a group of people who rock up to this resort called the White Lotus. And the reveal just goes on and on and on.
Yep.
There you go.
How people's lives can change in a week.
Yes. Your life's going to change next week when you see the Goliath.
Yeah. Well, I've got to ask you about The Sinner because I want to know why you suggested it to me to watch.
Because of the character development. I like whodunits. Yeah. I've liked it from the early days of Perry Mason, which you may not remember, but they've done a modern version of Perry Mason. And it was, again, a very different Perry Mason to the one we saw on television in the late 50s, early 60s. Yeah. And that came to Australia. That was Raymond Burr. It was a very different take. The recent Perry Mason that we saw on Foxtel was gritty, was of another time. And again, it's probably the origin story of Perry Mason, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So I want to see season 2 of Perry Mason, which will bring it ever closer to modern day. So very interesting. For me, I like, from those early days, I like stories, whether it's Law and Order, whether it's Spooks on BBC, stories that create problems and you want to find answers, whether it's Silent Witness or whether it's Endeavour, the story of Inspector Morse. So I love stories that make you think. And I thought The Sinner would draw you in, albeit a bit slow.
It was very slow.
Once it gets you going, you can't put it down.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like the second season is a little bit faster, but I don't know if it's just because there's more pieces of the puzzle to put together.
Okay, well, keep watching.
I will.
You'll tell me more.
I will. Okay, so this week you're making me watch Goliath. Okay. What did we say that was on again? Oh, we didn't say it.
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime.
Yep.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out what I want to make you watch.
I am watching Foundation on Apple.
I don't know what that is.
It's the new series, new sci-fi, based on Isaac Asimov's novels. It's futuristic. It's thousands of years ahead.
I wouldn't suggest that for you, though.
All right. Okay. Right. So what are you going to put me through this week, Laura?
Do you know what? I think I'm going to give you a really, really hard one.
No.
I think I am. Do you know why? Okay. So I came across this show a couple of years ago.
I'm very intent now to hear where you're going to put me.
Probably since coming back from cruise ships, when I was house sitting at random people's houses, and they had access to Netflix when I didn't have a Netflix account.
Right.
And there was one show that I came across that I have since had on repeat.
Where
And-
are you taking me, Lauren?
Oh, Dad, this one is going to get very, very dark very, very quickly. It's called Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Crazy Ex-Girlfriend or Friends?
Yes. Girlfriend, just the one, singular.
Okay.
And it is about a lawyer who moves to another part of the States because her ex-boyfriend lives there. And let me give you a little bit of a warning. It's kooky, it's quirky, there's music, there's dancing. It's very much a
What's it
dream
on?
for me. Oh, it's on Netflix. It's still on Netflix. Thank God. If Netflix ever remove it,
what is it?
I will cry. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Crazy Ex. Okay. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend coming up next week.
I think you're going to hate this.
TV is all we've got. It's the story of Lauren and George, dad and daughter.
Challenging each other to watch absurd things on their screens.
I know.
Yeah.
Someone's got to watch them. It may as well be us.
Yeah. Well, I think Netflix is kind of begging me to stop watching Crazy Ex-Girlfriend so they can take it off. But
I'm waiting from an email from Margaret Pomerantz and David Stratton to say enough, Danikian. Give it a whirl. give it a stop. Let us get back to what we do best.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we should definitely give them their place back. But
all right, darling.
I'm having too much fun.
Absolutely. Look after yourself. Catch you next week.
Yeah, you too, Dad. And I'll chat to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.